I'll just introduce him as far as I know what I know about him. So
Sorry.
yes, he's a chartered accountant by profession, and he also does dispute resolution. And other than that, every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. he gives lectures on Gita, which I have been fortunate to attend for the last 4 to 5 sessions whenever he has it. Apart from that, he'll introduce himself today.
Okay. And do it here or there?
Anyway,
It's already started, I guess.
So I saw the clock before I started.
Yeah.
Just to ensure that I try to finish it in 25 minutes because I was under the impression it is 45, well I try and finish it in 25. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, been practicing for more than 3 decades, and now I'm into coaching, motivation training, music, and I conduct, as Sunil said, I conduct my weekly webinar on Bhagavad Gita now. So my favorite subject is life. That's what I like to speak on mostly. So I'll now go ahead with the topic right away without wasting much time. Now, thanks to President Mohan for actually telling me that 11th hour you are our standby speaker. And so what is the subject you would like to speak on? I thought about what I should speak on, and this topic came up. More than once in my mind this topic came up because last time I had spoken on the 4-way test of Rotary under the lens of Mahabharata. I thought this is a time to speak on leadership itself because Rotary is all about leadership. We have our OCB, we will have our DG coming, we will have the AG coming in for whatever. So all this is about leadership. So I thought why not bring in the topic of leadership under the lens of Ramayana. So I will try to deal with this as my subject for today. Now, leadership, I am not going to bore on what is leadership. This is not a management lecture. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. Now this is said by somebody called Dwight Eisenhower, who was the president of US. Now Eisenhower himself was the the supreme commander of the Allied forces when they landed in Normandy on D-Day. But he himself never battled. He has not had one front-on battle in his life. He was only a strategist. So this example basically talks about somebody who's been a strategist. He says that he's motivating others to do what they are doing because they want to do it, not because he wants them to do it. So who's a leader in the corporate world? Somebody who creates an inspiring vision of the future, who motivates and inspires people to engage with that vision, manages delivery of that vision, and coaches and builds a team so that it is more effective at achieving that vision. This is possibly what we can understand. Peter Drucker, we all know, people who have been management students, they will know that Peter Drucker is like the management guru of the world. Now he says the only definition of a leader is someone who has followers. Now we then think that Pied Piper of Hamelin is a leader. He took the rats and they followed him and he is a leader by simply that definition. But effective leader is not the one who is loved or admired. He is someone whose followers do the right things. Leaders are highly visible. They set examples. It is not some set of privileges or rights, but it is a responsibility. This is Peter Drucker's. So we understand good leadership attributes to be intimacy. So you need to have trust of the people to whom you are addressing. You should listen well to what they are saying. And you should understand the idea of getting personal with your team. You should promote a dialogue with your team. You should expand the role of the team members so that they don't stay limited to what they are doing or what they are going to be doing, which is within their knowledge stream. Most importantly, there must be an agenda for a team. Only then leadership becomes successful. This broadly is the management parlance. Now we enter the realm of Ramayana. So Ramayana, there is one work on Ramayana in Marathi. It was called Gita Ramayana. Many of you may be knowing it. Gita Ramayana was a combined effort of Gadi Madgulkar, who wrote the songs, 55 songs, on the life of Rama. And it was composed and sung by Babu Sudhir Patil. So this is something which is very popular in olden times. People used to garland the radios as Did Rama Do used to happen. So in Did Rama Do, the opening song is again a song about the leader to the leader without him knowing that it is his sons who are actually singing the song. Love Kush were brought by Valmiki to Rama's darbar, saying that they are, disciples in my hermitage, and they are going to sing about you. And they don't know that they are singing about their father. The father doesn't know it is the sons who are singing. This is the scenario. And the first song is Swaye Shri Rama Prabhu Aikati Kushalav Ramayana Gati Kushalav Ramayana Gati. Basically, Kushalav are singing about Ramayana, and Rama is listening to that himself, taught by Valmiki what the life of Rama is. And they don't know that they are addressing their father. Father doesn't know that it is the children who are singing to him. So Ramayana is like a Maha-Itihasa. It is an epic history of 7,000 years. We know that. Now, we commonly believe that we all want Ramrajya when it comes to good governance. It is equally applicable to organizations, applicable to corporates, nations, or any group, including Rotary. We want good governance at the end of the day. So there are many lessons in the corporate world which we can understand through the lens of Ramayana. Now we will understand a few characters of Ramayana through certain stories about those characters. That is what I want to do. So we will relate to the concept of leadership through those. So who are the people? So the characters I am bringing across here are Dasharatha, Ravana, Vibhishana, Sugriga, Hanuman, Bharata, and Rama. Last. Okay. So let us understand this leadership concept itself through these guys. Guys, come on, it is history. There are people like you and me. Okay. Now, Dasharatha had the curse of Shravan Kumar's parents because he killed Shravan Kumar by mistake. He forgave him, but the parents cursed him that you will also die in Putra Shoka. This is what he was cursed. He was a great warrior. He was a fair ruler of the kingdom and a great leader of his time. We all know that. But there was one desire for him, and that desire was for a male progeny to rule the Ikshvaku kingdom. So he was very desirous that he should have a male progeny. Now this leads us to a question in today's world: can females not lead? So there was a gender preference there at that time. Now, although he had a female child earlier, many of us may not know that there was an elder sister of Rama called Shanta.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was the first child of Kausalya and Dasharatha. And that child was given on for adoption to Kausalya's sister because they were childless.
Okay.
And Kausalya's sister was in depression. So because of that, they gave that child for adoption to Shanta for adoption to Kausalya's sister. So साली फिर भी आधी घर वाली होती है, ठीक है, साली के लिए कर दिया चलेगा. Now Shanta then married Rishyashringa, a Muni called Rishyashringa. And that was also a deceit, I would say deceit, or maybe a plan by Dasharatha, because he wanted a male progeny and his wives were not conceiving. So the Putra Kameshki Yagna could be conducted only by Rishyashringa. So Shanta was sent to the ashram to sort of woo Rishyashringa and then bring him to Ayodhya. So she brought him to Ayodhya. So the son-in-law performed the Putra Kameshki Yagna and the 3 children. We know the Payasa story and all that. What we don't know probably is that, or maybe some of us know that a part of that Payasam was picked up by a kite and dropped on the hands of Anjani, who was praying for a child. So that dropped on Anjani's hands and it was blown to Anjani's hands by Vayu.
Okay, Vayu.
So that is how Anjani consumed it and Hanuman was born. This is one part of the story. So now we know the story of his having given those promises to Kaikeyi Now, because of that promise, he agreed to coronate Bharata. Now, knowing fully well that the rightful heir and the more competent person was Rama. Because of the promise. So this brings me to song. I'll burst into a song in between now. So, मैं इंतजार करूं, ये दिल निसार करूं, मैं तुझसे प्यार करूं, मगर कैसे एतबार करूं, झूठा है तेरा वादा, वादा तेरा वादा, वादा तेरा वादा, वादे पे तेरे मारा गया, बंदा मैं सीधा सादा. This is exactly his condition. Okay. Now, the question that is coming across is, can an individual claim biological talent of his progeny in rulership? My son alone is the talented person for ruling? Or is that, now we look at ITC, we look at probably Tata's, it is talent which leads. Whereas even in Birla's or any other that we were discussing, any other corporate, it is the biological progeny which is leading. Can you assure that that is a talent which is right for the rulership? Question. So that can a leader throw the future of his team and followers to the pit of uncertainty or a personal commitment just because he gave a personal commitment? But you also understand that every present is a product of the past. The curse of Shravana's parents had to happen. The purpose of Rama Avatar was that he should give lessons of right living, triumph of good over evil, discovery of Hanuman. None of this would have happened if Rama was not born. Rama could not have been born unless Rishishringa did the Putra Kamishti Yagna. Rishishringa would not have come unless Shanta was given, for adoption to the sister. So it's a sequence of events that the present is determined by a past set of actions by not only me, by a lot of other people. So this is what we understand. So all these wouldn't have happened if it was not for Dasharatha's dangerous promise, which we can question for whatever reason we want to say. Now we come to the next character, which is Ravana. Ravana became a king, usurping the kingdom from his half-brother Kubera. So deceit is the first step towards rulership. Deceitfully he removed Kubera from the kingdom and then he became the ruler. But Ravana was a scholar. He was an author of texts for curing ailments of children. He was an author of texts for curing syphilis. He was an author for various texts on Nadi Vaidya. He was an expert in Veena. He was an expert in Shastras, the Vedas, a great expert in astrology. So, although he was an Asura, he was called a Maha-Brahman by Rama himself. And for having killed Ravana, Rama went into penance for 1 year, saying that it is Brahmahatya. I did something which is not, I have to atone for that sin which I did. Because of all the 10 heads that Ravana had, there was one head which was love, compassion, kindness, knowledge, all that, I killed that head also, along with the other 9, which could be whatever negativities that you can call about. So I need to atone for that. So I am sitting on penance. Now, Kubera's daughter-in-law, which is Ravana's half-brother, he was smitten by her and he tried to touch her inappropriately. She gave him a curse that if you try to touch a woman without her consent, your head will explode into 3 pieces. So now that was one of the main reasons why he never touched Sita. He never touched Sita. Other than the fact that he lifted her and took her to Ashokan, he never did anything wrong and he was waiting for her consent. So his weakness was other women. He was besotted by her beauty. In the Swayamvar, he tried to lift the Shiv Dhanush by arrogance. He did not go to him with humility. He said, I am powerful. I can lift. I am the greatest devotee of Shiva. He was. But he went with arrogance, saying that I could do it. But when he went with arrogance, he couldn't lift it. Whereas Rama went with total humility and he lifted it and he won over it. So from then onwards, he had an eye on Sita. So leader must set an example. Ravana gives an example. Leader must set an example with all these good qualities. In Gita, we call that person as a Sthita Prajna, the one who is a man of perfection. Ravana's vanity was his power. So, man of perfection, his boon, Ravana's boon from Shiva was that he will not be defeated by Devas, by Gandharvas, by even gods. but he didn't ask for a boon not to be killed by humans. And Rama was a human. So this is what arrogance does to you. Even though you have the knowledge that you have, this is what arrogance does to you. So his weakness led to the ruin of his own kingdom and his own kith and kin. Now Kumbhakarna and Meghnad, we know that they were epic warriors, one the brother and the son. Now it seems that Kumbhakarna was woken up from his sleep, 6 months sleep, and then said you have to go for fighting the battle. When he came to know this was it, he said, brother, you are doing such a wrong thing. This is immoral. Allow her to go and let your kingdom and your people live happily. This is not your job to do. He will have none of it because his arrogance was on top. Meghnad was as arrogant as his father. But Meghnad knew one thing, that Meghnad knew that he will be killed by only one person who has done 14 years, who has gone sleepless, and he will spoil my own yajna. My yajna bhanga, if somebody does, and that person has not slept for 14 years, he will be the person who will kill me. Lakshmana was that fellow. For 14 years, he was devotedly looking after his brother and Bhavi. And when Meghnad was doing the, what do you call it, the black magic to try and defeat the entire Rama's army, the Vanaras, Lakshmana was shown the way by Vibhishana to go and meet Meghnad and kill him. So at that point in time, Meghnad knew that this is the person who's going to kill me. He went back to Rama. He said, Papa, don't do this. We know that divine powers are against us and we are on the wrong. Don't do this. But his arrogance will have none of it. He says, we will fight. And that led to destruction of his own people and the kingdom also. So, leader of men must eschew their personal ego and leave their arrogance behind for the welfare of the people around them. This is the lesson that we learn from Rama. So, leader who doesn't apply his knowledge and his skills for the progress and prosperity of his own people will perish in the end. That's what we learn from this. Now we will take up the next character, Vibhishana. Vibhishana, when we hear the name Vibhishana, the first thing which comes is Ghar ka beti Lanka ka hai. This is what we all think, no? But let us understand the character itself. Now leadership is a collective responsibility with one person in the driving seat. But he is not the first among equals. Others in the leadership team have a responsibility for course correction when there are wrong turns. This we understand. So leader must have the courage to say the truth, even at the risk of losing their position or even their life if it is required. Because he took that risk of telling Ravana that you are wrong and we should be siding him, he was banished by Ravana from the kingdom. So leader must have the vision to understand and be willing to ally with those who are right. And following the path of dharma. That is dharma meaning what? That which is the right thing to do. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is that which is the right thing to do. For the progress of his own team and his own followers. So aiding Rama and revealing the secrets, including the secret chamber of Meghnad, the navel of Ravana, which he said you have to finally shoot the arrow to his navel. All that without bothering about being branded as a traitor. This is what he did. So we can call whatever names we want, but there are the same song which I sang, uska first line kaisa hai, सच्चाई छुप नहीं सकती बनावट के असूलों से कि खुशबू आ नहीं सकती कभी कागज के फूलों से. This is what people will think. But ultimately when you look at the deeper meaning of what has been done, you understand exactly what was he doing. Now loyalty beyond a point of redemption can become poisonous. This we can understand. Because that is not the quality. People are accusing him of being disloyal. Loyalty beyond a point of redemption is dangerous. Another example we can think of is Bhishma in Mahabharata. He was loyal to the kingdom. But it became at a point beyond redemption, it was going to lead to the destruction of the kingdom itself. He knew that. But he knew that my own quality is that I cannot be disloyal to the throne. So I will continue to do what I am doing, knowing fully well that he was wrong. Bhishma knew that he was wrong. Yet he says, I can't do it because I am bound by my promise. So there must be a courage to take the noble path, even though it may be an unpopular choice. It is essential in a leader. Now, in taking that action for Vibhishana, he was guided by his own mother, Kaikeyi. Now he was sure that Rama is Vishnu incarnate, but he says, I will go and ask counsel of my mother. Mother said, he is Vishnu incarnate. What he is doing is the right thing. What your brother is doing is the wrong thing. You at least have the courage to go and side with Ram and do whatever is required of you to ensure that people of Lanka are saved in this personal battle of personal, what can I say, choice or preference or likings. People of the country should not suffer. So leaders leave their qualities as benchmarks for others to follow. This we understand. So the path of righteousness as opposed to blind loyalty is embodied as an immortal quality by Vibhishana. There are only 7 people who have been called immortal in the world. In Ramayana there are 2, Hanuman and Vibhishana. They are immortal. Because when Ram and the entire entourage went back to Vaikuntha, they told, Rama told Vibhishana that you will remain forever and look after your people. So even though his brother Kumbhakarna was wise, he was also a wise man, and advised Ravana against these indiscretions, Kumbhakarna fought valiantly for Lanka because he said, okay, it is my duty, I will die fighting. But he told Vibhishana, you go. You are a wiser person. You go and you be with Rama. So this is, in Gita, this is called as Shreyas versus Preyas. Shreyas is that which is the right thing to do. Preyas is that which is tempting to do, alluring to do, but it could lead to your downfall. So this is the kind of character that we come across as Vibhishana. Now we go to the next person, Sugriva. Now Sugriva was an able and obedient subordinate of his brother Vali. But there was a misunderstanding due to that fight with Maya. There was a fight with that Maya and that Rakshasa. Vali went after him into that cave. They fought for a year, and finally he heard a grunt saying that Vali was no more. So instead of allowing Maya to come out of that cave, he put a boulder outside that cave and he went back and said sadly that the king is dead. Actually he was not dead. He fought some more. He won the battle against Maya and came out, but that he didn't know. So he went back reluctantly, and they said that no, you are the rightful heir to the throne, so you must be crowned as the king. They crowned him as the king, and he crowned Angad, Vali's son, as the prince. All these things he did, which was the right thing to do. But when Vali came out of that, Vali got angry. So when Vali got angry and then he was banished from the kingdom, Vali defeated him because he was more powerful. But more importantly, Vali took Sugriva's wife as his own consort. And he banished Sugriva from the kingdom. This is a part of the story that we know. Now Hanuman was the matchmaker with Rama between Sugriva. Now Hanuman could have defeated Vali. He was very powerful. He could have defeated Vali. But Sugriva never told him. He was a minister. The king never told him that you defeat Vali. So probably because the king felt that it was his duty to fight his brother on a matter which is a personal battle, I cannot involve my minister or my kingdom in doing that. So Rama slayed Vali. Now there is a justification. If people say that why didn't he shoot his arrow, shoot the arrow behind the tree and all those kind of things that are saying. But he gave a lesson after Vali was killed. He says your younger brother is like your son, and his wife is your own child. To spoil the chastity of your own child is the greatest sin that a man can make. So you suffered the sin for that. He realized at that time. Now, because of that, now Sugriva fought with the entire army of Vanaras, he fought the battle. So this leads to this quality, that leadership quality in gratefulness for a good deed that you receive and you reciprocate in a better measure. So Vanarasena helped Rama fight Lanka, even though Meghnad had fired the Brahmastra and almost tried to kill many of the Vanaras. Even then, Sugriva ensured that the Vanaras fought with Rama. Now we will come to the next character, which is Hanuman. Now, Hanuman lived as a Vanara throughout his life without the knowledge of his own power. He could have vanquished Vali, he didn't know. But he couldn't because he was a minister, and minister cannot become bigger than the king. He never knew his power till circumstances brought him to that knowledge. Because as a child, we all know that he went to capture the sun, he was naughty, he was very mischievous, he could play around with anybody because of his power. So he was given a sort of a curse which said that you will never remember your power. At that time when that bridge, Ram Setu was before it was built, they had to find out that actually Sita is there. Who will go? How will you cross the sea? Jambavan said, you are powerful. He says, I don't know, I am not powerful. He lifted the curse and said, you can now fly across. So you don't know your power as a leader until circumstances bring it to your knowledge that yes, I am capable beyond my own imagination. So, of course, he went and gave a message to Sita. Sita refused to come with him, saying that no, it is my husband's job to come and take me. I will not come with you. Now, the other example we have of Hanuman doing is, picking up the Sanjeevani mountain for Lakshmana's herbs, etc. He did not have, he had the power, but he didn't know which was the herb. So in all humility, he simply picked up the mountain and he brought it. So that also brings in the lesson, even in power you need to understand what is humility. I am not bringing I don't know. I am bringing this, now you decide what you do. So he also advised Ravana that intellectuals like you should not be engrossed in acts which are antagonistic to righteousness. The fruit of righteousness does not exist together with the fruit of unrighteousness. Now, I'll give you an example for this. And he also said that you need to double or quadruple your effort in righteousness to cover whatever unrighteous acts you have done. There is an example which I can probably give. In our villages, we have the barrel full of rice. Harvested rice is brought, put it into the barrel. And down below the barrel, there is a small opening which you remove. You take a vessel, how much rice you want, you pick it up, go take it for cooking. Now you put rice, you open, rice is what you will get. Now assume for a moment that instead of rice, you put pebbles. You put pebbles and then you open, what will come? Rice will come because rice is already there. After doing that, after some time you put rice, what will come? Pebbles will come because the pebbles have come down. So the deeds that we do today, no matter how good or bad they are, you will have to reap the rewards or the downfall of that in time. That is what is the lesson that he gave. So you should be bold to advise your seniors to follow the right path. Keep your intellect and wisdom firm. This is his message to Sugriga as he took over as the king. And to the Vanaras he said, whosoever has the four qualities, courage, vision, intellect and skill, they can beat anybody. He motivated them. So this is what Hanuman as a leader was able to tell them. So his attitude teaches us that self-reliance and being free of depression always is essential for emotional comfort and progress in whatever work that we undertake. Now he alone can accomplish, who implements many secondary tasks even after the initial task has been carried through without impairing the previous achievement. Now this is another lesson, it's in Sanskrit. What this means is, he met Sita, he conveyed the message, took her ring, and then he said, now I will burn Lanka. He played whatever is the mischief that he did, and he will burn Lanka. To teach you the power of my master. Secondary task, to teach you the power of my master, I will burn Lanka. And he went away. And then the war happened. So basically the secondary task was to say, communicate a message, even now you have time. You can fall back from this. I have got the message that I want that my master's wife is here and she's got a message, I'm taking that message back. But you be aware. So that is another leadership quality that comes across. There is another quality that Hanuman brings across, that is selflessness. Now we all know that Valmiki Ramayana is the most famous version of Ramayana. Valmiki came to know that Hanuman has also written something about Ramayana. So he went to Hanuman in Himalayas. There on the rocks, Hanuman had written his own version of Ramayana as it happened, the poetry, through his nails on the rock. And Valmiki read it and he was aghast because it was a far, far superior work of literary genius as compared to his own Ramayana. Hanuman saw his face and he realized that he was feeling challenged by whatever I had done. He erased everything. He says, my Ram is in my heart. I don't need to prove that to anybody. I am selfless enough. Your Valmiki Ramayana will be the greatest. There is a story like that also. So we move to the next character. I am sorry I have exceeded my time. Should I stop?
No.
Bharat and Rama, they are the other two characters.
You can conclude, sir, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay. On returning, I will probably not even take Bharat and Rama. On returning from the battle, Rama, everybody was going. Hanuman said, I want to see my mother. And they went to see Anjani. They also wanted to see his mother. They went to see Anjani. Anjani abused him, saying that, why did you do this? Why did you make the Vanaras build that bridge? Why did you make Rama cross over there to bring Sita and God? You are powerful enough to go and get her by yourself. So he said, Amma, I did not have my master's command to bring her. My master's command was to know that she was there, her welfare, and I had to come back. And I told her that I will bring her, but she said, no, it is your master's job to bring me back, not your job. So when she realized that, she forgave him. So these are stories about how selflessness happens. Now Bharata's story, I will try to do this quickly. Now I will conclude with Bharata. I am not talking about Ram because Ram we must have heard many times. How he came into the picture of Ramayana itself. He came into the picture when he and Shatrughna had gone away when Rama was banished from the kingdom. So when he came, at the moment he came and got the news, he was angry. He was angry at the mother for doing something which was improper. How can you say that I should be coronated as king? He is the rightful king. He was also angry with his father for acceding to his wife's request for this, granting these boons. So there are two versions about whether Bharata cremated his father or not. There is one this thing which says that father died and he cremated him. The other says that Dasharatha was angry and he cursed Kaikeyi and Bharata that your son cannot touch my dead body even if I die. Now, in that version, when Bharat goes to the jungle, he is telling Ram, you like a good son were able to follow your father's decree and went to the kingdom. Lakshmana like a good brother followed you. Sita like a good wife followed you. Shatrughna had the right to cremate my father. What do I do? So Rama says, you take the Padukas and rule the kingdom. So this is one set of story. But then the fact remains that he went in sorrow to the forest and told Rama that you be the king, I will serve your time in forest. This we know, these are the things which we know. So there Rama is telling him, and here I bring again a Did Rama song, beautiful song. Daiva jata dukhe bharata doshna kunacha paradhina aaye jagati putra manavacha doshna kunacha. Rama is saying, sorrow is also a nature of God himself. There is nobody to blame, not the mother, not the father, nobody to blame. This is a journey that I have undertaken long ago. I am just following the journey. You just go and do what is your duty. So don't get angry with mother or father. And Bharat ruled as an administrator for 14 years and he threatened that I will self-immolate if you don't come at the beginning of the 15th year. So what did Rama do? He was scared because he had a lot of things on the way. Rama, Rama, all those things were there. So he sent Hanuman first to ensure that Bharat does not immolate himself. And then he followed. Bharat asked him, why did you send Hanuman first? To check up whether I have taken over the kingdom? So how misunderstanding plays a role even in rulership. He says, no Vida, if I had not sent him on time, I was scared that you will immolate yourself. That was the reason. So when acting in surrender to higher purpose or personality, your actions always get a taint of purity and piety. This is a lesson in Gita also, because he ruled as a king, saying that the Padukas are the king and the administrator. So Ram Rajya before Ram himself came to rule was actually during Bharata's time.
Oh, with the Padukas.
Because he says the Padukas are the king.
Yeah.
I am only a servant of that Padukas. And he says I am waiting for the king to return. Now when he was waiting for the king to return, the entire population was waiting for the king to return. So the population's mindset is that we have to remain this perfect subjects. So there is Ram Rajya. And the king was saying, I should be the perfect administrator till the boss comes. So this is the kind of atmosphere that you probably look in an organization when we talk about management. So I'll close it. Rama can be for
permission, I have taken some videos and sent to the people also,
okay,
so that they will enjoy much before you send them.
Okay, so I will close with the Rafizad song.
1 minute, let me take a video. Please, 1 minute. Having come.
सुख के सब साथी दुख में न कोई मेरे राम तेरा नाम एक साचा दूजा न कोई.
Fantastic. Gopi?
Yes.
What a movie, yeah. I saw it in 1971 and Gopi wala theater. Fantastic, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very, very absorbing. Those who didn't come,
They have missed something, really. I will rate you, I mean, I don't know whether you will like to hear that. I will rate you something like Osho. Rate you, either that, you know.
we are going to thank him, but then just
thank you.
Vote of thanks by President-elect Ajay Sati. Sorry, President nominee.
That patent is already passed on.
So, we heard one of the finest leadership talks, probably any talk for that matter, at least as far as I am concerned, for a long, long time. And I was actually, you should have computed even Ram.
No, at time, already 35 minutes.
Next time. Next time.
We'll keep that as a separate
We
topic.
will have him again for something like this.
Yes.
And he might be having so many things under his pocket, we just don't know. I personally listen to a lot of Osho. And I listen to others also, but Osho is Osho. I don't know. The views will differ.
Yeah.
If you believe in what Osho's teachings are, you are, I mean, he is amazing actually. That level. I mean,
It's a
my jaws were dropping every second.
big compliment for you. Great compliment, yes.
It was dropping every second, you know. It was amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we would love to hear it again, live.
Thank you.
और ये वीडियो जो है, this we would like to, you know.
I will share it.
You can
I will
give the
share.
link or whatever.
No, I will give it to Srikant ji. He will put it up on our website.
Ah, ठीक है, done. And you know, I would love my wife, children, friends, everybody
Wonderful.
to
Thank you.
listen.
Then you should join the Saturday.
You should join me talk on Saturday. Every Saturday, 5 to 6, I'm talking on Gita.
ठीक है ना, करेंगे. You just share with that link and all that stuff.
I will do
I
that.
will.
Cecil, you please share the link.
Suresh, you are recorded, no?
Yes.
That you give it, and I think our people should see it. See, we are all
Really?
fortunate to be there, 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah.
And it prompted me that I'll take clips. I can't take 1 minute. When you told about 2 characters, 3 characters, I took and I have sent it and it has already reached.
Thank you. Thank you.
Including you.
Thank you.
नहीं बहुत ही बेहतरीन.
Fantastic.